Okay, it's 7:04. So just a few housekeeping rules. If you have a lot of noise in your background, just keep yourself muted for everyone's convenience so everybody can hear well. If you're eating or doing something you don't want other people to see, just go ahead and stop your video, but you'll still be able to hear everything. And I think that's about it as far as housekeeping rules. Oh, if you have questions, put them in the chat box and I'll read them to Stephanie at the end. And then also at the end, if there's time, you can unmute yourself and share your question verbally. So is Becky Tipton here yet? I haven't seen her log on.
I don't think she's on yet, and she hasn't answered me. So
I
I
got
just
an
wanted.
answer from her.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, so we can go ahead and, well, do you have any announcements, Jolie?
I just have one that next month will be Nikki Bowman talking about mentoring and concierge beekeeping. So how you can make money doing that. And then I just want to remind everyone that this is a Kansas honey producers function, but it's free, of course, to everyone. But anyone who wants to join our club can go to kansashoneyproducers.org and become a member for $15 a year. But you don't have to be a member, but we'd love for you to join us. That's all I had. So.
Okay. I don't think Becky's here yet, so we'll go ahead and get started with the program. I think she's planning on being here a little later on. But anyway, tonight we're privileged to have Stephanie Brown. She's from Hutchinson, Kansas. She's done extremely well marketing her honey. She and her husband Mark do farmers markets, craft shows. They set up in small boutiques, if I'm saying that word right. And she's pretty creative in the way that she sets things up. So Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you and you can start sharing your screen.
All righty. Thank you very much, though, for asking me to participate. I love it. Let me see if I can get share screen now.
Can I talk first?
Yes.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't have my phone in my pocket. My alarm went off and it's still light. So it's so early. It just feels like that. How are you, Miss Stephanie?
I'm good. How are you, Miss Becky?
I am good. I am good. Just a little crazy right now. So we missed you at the spring meeting last month, and we missed you at the fall meeting before that. Are you ever coming back?
If I can get a time off between the honey house needing to be finished and the shows that we do, I mean, the weekends are just slammed.
I bet they are. I bet they are. You are a busy lady, and that is the way it goes. I know, and that's when you work for yourself and your boss is really not a nice person.
Oh, trust me, he keeps it going.
You're going all the time. Okay, so here's the deal. Not every year, but a lot of years, the Kansas Honey Producers chooses to honor someone who has just gone above and beyond in beekeeping. And girlfriend, that's you. You and Mark have been there for the state fair, have been there for whatever Kansas Honey Producers wanted. And if you had come to the meeting, we'd have done this in person. But we're not doing it in person because you're not at the meeting and I'm not sure you're ever coming back again. Let's see if we can get my camera. Let's see. Can you read that? Probably can't read it because it's all backwards. But it says Kansas Honey Producers Association 2021 Beekeepers of the Year, Stephanie Brown, Mark Muntz. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for almost always saying yes when we ask And you have just done so much in a really fast amount of time. So all you people on here tonight, pay attention, because Miss Stephanie, she knows what she's doing. She's got it. So I'm gonna,
Not
if I
bad.
can find an appropriate box, I'll ship it to you.
Okay.
So when you get this mystery package, it's not a bomb.
Okay.
Open it. It'll be good.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody. We sure appreciate that. We
I'm
really
just
do.
really sorry that you're not, that we didn't get to do it and everybody clap and maybe watch you turn red or
Oh,
something.
no
And-
doubt.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for doing this, and thank you everybody who's here. And let's hear about doing markets. Very
Okay,
good.
let me
Thanks.
see if I can get this share screen now. Okay, gotta go here. Now is it working?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so I am actually honored that you asked me to do this one. We set up at shows and markets, sometimes 2 and 3 a weekend. It's craziness, we know. But I gotta tell you, we paid for that honey house all the way. We never got a loan. We never had to get a loan because we marketed and marketed and marketed. Okay, so this is a way for you guys to sell the products, and all these products that you guys put on here for your value added products. You're gonna have to do something with them because you can't just let them stack up. So the ways you can set up is to sell your products is by direct sales. A direct sale is where your customer is your end. That's the end of the sale. Okay, friends, family, co-workers, your neighbors. Other ways you can direct sales is farm markets, craft shows, bazaars. They call them everything. And you'll get paloozas and flea markets, roadside stands. But those are you selling directly to your end consumer. That's a direct sale. Wholesale is where the person that you're selling to is not your end customer. Okay. So if you sell to a store and you sell it to them wholesale, they're selling to somebody else. That's not your end customer. That is wholesale. Your vendor booths that you set up in your little, we're set up in like 6 or 7 of them. I'd have to stop and count actually. Little boutiques. Those there are actually wholesale because you are not selling to the end customer. They're going to put it out, they're going to sell it to somebody else. If you really get into it, the USDA, they say gift baskets and donations and that type of things are considered wholesale because that is not your end customer. To be wholesale, you have to have a certified kitchen and you have to be licensed with the state and have a tax ID. So we're going to get back to our direct sales because that's what we really like. So how do you find them? Well, the websites on Facebook, there's all sorts of marketplaces that will give you, here's the upcoming thing. You can look for sales in your area. If you've ever been to a craft show or a flea market, you've looked around, that's a good place to get started. Know how far you want to travel. Like we put just about a 2-hour cap on, and that's because if it's a 2-day show, I'm not normally going to pay out for a hotel because that dips into your profits. So know how far you're willing to travel when you're looking for them. You go to existing events, go to your farm market, talk to people, go to your flea markets. Most all your small towns have some sort of yearly event, whether it's 4th of July or Labor Day or whatever. And a lot of them anymore have vendors there that sell their products. So then ask other sellers for suggestions. The biggest thing that you need to know is do your research. Make sure it is legit, that there is actually an event going on. who's the actual host. Know your host. There are scammers out there. We have been scammed. Don't get fooled. We've been scammed at a very big show, and we did not recoup all of our money from it even. So make sure that the copy of the information and the name of the contact person is there. Make sure it's not a ghost event. A ghost event is actually an event that isn't even an event. They're collecting money and you're not going to get it back usually. I mean, it's really tough to get your money back once you pay somebody and there's nothing going on. If you have somebody that's requesting that you send gift cards for your vendor fee, that's a big red flag. Nope. Or if they say, well, I'm the host, but I need for you to send the money to so-and-so. No. I'm going to tell you, don't ever pay cash for a vendor spot. Don't use your debit card either. Both of those you will never be able to dispute. Your credit card, you cannot dispute if it goes through. You can dispute a credit card bill. You can dispute on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Square, and get your money back if you need to. So know where your money's going. So get back to, okay, we found an event. They're going to ask you to fill out an application. This is standard. They'll want to see a lot of times if you have pictures of where you've set up before, if you have a website, they too want to do their research because they want to know that you're legit, that you don't have junk, that you're going to show up, that you know what you're doing. Okay. Most of your good vendors will have only one or two like items. You don't want to go to an event that has 22 beekeepers there unless it's the beekeeper show, you know, because then none of you are going to make money. Now, a little competition ain't never bad, but you know, if you've got a bunch of them, you're just not going to sell your product. They'll usually require a list of all products that you're going to bring. If you're going to add to that, if you forgot something, you need to get back with your host and say, oh, I forgot. I didn't even list the creamed honeys. Is it all right if I bring them? Let them determine whether or not, you know, if they have somebody else that already put it in. Excuse me. They may tell you, no, we've got somebody. So you need to make sure your list is very accurate. Read that application completely through. It'll talk to you about your setup times, your tear down times, what you can do, can't do. You got to make sure if you're outside, you know you're outside, or if you're inside, where you're going to be at. Because if you're outside, you're going to need other, like a tent. So you need to make sure you know whether or not is the host providing your tables and chairs, and do you need electricity? Some people travel with a cash register system. We use everything on our tablet or phone, so we don't need electricity for us. And a lot of times they will charge you extra for electricity. Some places that are get up there in more fancy, is what I like to say, will require that you have a backdrop. So you got to really know what you got to bring. A lot of our shows require you to make a donation as some part of the agreement. They're either going to give it away, they're going to auction it off, they're going to donate it to charity, but a lot of them will ask you for some sort of one of your products as a donation. Some of your hosts, after you sign up, will send you out a packet. But most of them, when you go to check in upon arrival, they'll just tell you what's going on. Your host is going to accept your list of products. However, USDA still does have guidelines on what products you can sell and how they have to be labeled and sold. Okay. You can get with K-State, you can get with the agriculture, Kansas.gov has guidelines, but they get real picky about some products that you can and cannot sell at a farm market or roadside stand. Dog treats and animal food require additional license. with the Kansas Animal Feed Board. So make sure you get your ducks in a row there. All of your products have to be labeled properly. What you're going to call the product, the name of your product, the weight of your product has to be on there. You have to have an ingredient statement, and you have to have clarity of the responsible party. That's who made it and how to get a hold of them. If something goes wrong, you've got to be able to got a hold of. So then you got to remember about yourself. Always take you a chair. If they're not providing you one, you're going to be there probably 8 hours. You're going to want to sit somewhere during the day. You're going to need a change box. Are they providing lunch? Do you need to bring lunch? Is lunch available? You've got drinks. We run card reader. We run with Square. There's a lot of different point of sale systems, is what they call them, POS. Out there, we do run with Square, and I'm gonna tell you, Square can sometimes be a third of our business sales. A lot of people are not carrying cash anymore, so it's something that you need to really think about before you go to your sales, whether you're going to take cards or not. Make sure your products are labeled and ready to go. So when you get there for setup, you'll check yourself in with your host and find your space. Now, you're going to have neighbors probably on both sides of you. Be courteous. They're awesome. People are awesome to be around. They can cover you if you're by yourself for bathroom breaks. They're also a potential customer, but if you're still looking for different shows, they're also a valuable source of information. You can stand there and chit chat and ask them, where's your next show? What do you do? You know, and you get a lot of good information on show information from your neighbors. If you had to bring in your own tables, the thing I do is haul all of my stuff in and then get my table set up, get my car parked to where other people can get in and get set up for it. I love tablecloths. Tablecloths are a great way to make an impressive little booth area, and it also will hide your overstock underneath your table. So everything looks really good. This is what I like to say, KISS, keep it simple with style. It doesn't take much to dress up a table at all. You can just buy different product heights. You can make different, make eye-catching things with different product types. I use a lot of spice racks. They're cheap, but they make little stair steps, and your product will stand out that way. That holds little jars really neat, and your soap stacks on them really good. Wooden crates I've seen stacked to be used for shelves. They work really nice. They look good. What you need to remember is at the end of a very long day, you haul all that stuff back out too. So what you hauled in is going back out. And sometimes you're tired and going, I just don't want to do this. So here I have some examples. We have our honey jam on a stack. It's just a spice rack that I bought for like $9 at Walmart. Same with our vapor line. They stack real nice. Over here to the side here, I've taken this little metal tray and put a cardboard insert in it, and that's how our lip balms stand up and are displayed. This here is what I call a front line setup. Okay, that means more than likely you have a vendor on both sides of you. Most spaces are 10 by 10. Some people will do what I call a horseshoe. I've never horseshoed in because of the fact I like to stand right here and talk to my customer. And sometimes you'll get people going, oh, it's just honey, so they don't want to come in and shop and browse. But if you can catch them and talk to them, then they'll realize that you have other things to offer than just honey. This is a corner setup, okay? Here's another example of this here is just a little rack that I drop the jars down in and put my honey sticks in. I have here, this is a pop case. This is what my lotion bar tins travel in. I like to be able to pull this out of my box, drop it on the table, and it's set up and ready to go. Then if you see down here, our dog treats, they're in just your old candy style jars. They didn't cost me, but I think $5 a piece on sale at Hobby Lobby. And I just put my label on the side and it makes a really nice display. Now, sometimes a corner booth will cost you more money if it's a premium spot. So be prepared if you really want a corner booth that you might pay a little bit more. But if you stop and look, you paid for a 10 by 10 spot, but technically you have 20 feet of real estate right here because you have your front 10 and your side 10. And this here is one of my best setups because of the fact that I kind of segregate the food products from the health and beauty aid products and dog treats and so forth. I don't know, it's just one of those things that I just have set in my mind that you don't mix food and soap together. Your customers are awesome. You need to greet everybody. You talk to those kids even. They might come get 3 or 4 samples from you, but they're going back and telling mom or aunt or grandma how wonderful it is. And at the end of the day, more than likely, aunt, grandma, or whoever is going to come and buy what they were trying. Talk, talk, talk. You got to talk to everybody. We have a large number of sales with people who come up and you'll get them all the time. Oh, I had a beekeeper friend that I buy honey from, and I'm always fantastic. Know your beekeeper, and I will say that a million times. But as you're talking to them, they'll look down and they'll be like, "Oh, what's this creamed honey stuff? My beekeeper don't have that, or they don't have soap, or they don't have lotion bars." So more than likely you can sell something else other than just the liquid honey that they're already getting from their beekeeper. We give out samples. We give out a controlled sample just like at the fair. You have to check with your host to make sure that samples are okay. And if you go out of the state of Kansas, you need to check to see what their guidelines for different states are for handing out samples too. One of the things that sometimes we get caught up in is they'll say you need to have a like a food handler's license for the day, and it's like, no, our food is considered to be bought and taken home and eaten and not eaten there. So normally you don't have to have that. So if you explain that to them, that this is not product they're going to eat here, then you don't wind up having to pay that food handler's license. Business cards are fantastic. Always have business cards on your table. Give them out. It's a great way for people to contact you later. Oh, I just already bought honey. Well, here's my card. Give me a call when you're ready for the next one. Make a friend, make a sale. I mean, it's just that simple. It's been a great day. You've had great sales. You've done fantastic. Now, tear down is just as important as set up. Everybody is ready to get out of there, trust me. But do not tear down early. And most of your contracts will read that. And if you tear down early, you will not, a lot of them will not allow you back. They advertise that they're running till 4 or 5 o'clock, some of them. They want people there at 4 and 5 o'clock if they've got customers coming in. That's why they don't want you to tear down early. You need to take all your trash with you, your empty boxes. Leave it better than you found it. Be a good vendor. I've seen places that when they've left, there's trash all over the place, and those hosts are not a happy camper when they gotta come clean up behind you. Okay, and last but not least is every host is required by the state of Kansas to turn in a vendor's list. The state knows you were there, okay? This has to go to do with the taxes. They are also required to give you a tax identification form. That form is very, very important. We pay our taxes quarterly, but that form still is important because on the form is a little jurisdiction code. And when you put in your taxes online, you're going to want that jurisdiction code. What that code does is it allocates where that sales tax goes back to. And there are counties that have 4 and 5 different jurisdiction codes. So you can think, oh, I'm right here in Hayesville. That's the code I need. Nope, Hayesville has 4 different ones. And if you fill out the wrong one, you're gonna go amend your taxes. Trust me, I've done that one too. It's so much fun. You can attend, it's either 5 or 6 events a year without a tax ID. And it's so simple to get a tax ID that once you do it, you'd be just like, oh, I was procrastinating over that. Without a tax ID, you can do 5 a year or 6. I could never figure it out. And all you do is you take that form that they give you, you fill out your pay, how much money you made. It's going to tell you how much tax you owe, and you send that tax in, that money in with that form. If you do not, they are going to contact you and want to know where their sales tax is at. So that is my presentation. Does anybody have, I gotta get out of there. Does anybody have any questions?
We've got a couple questions here, Stephanie.
Okay.
Let me get to the chat box. First one is from Becky Tipton. What do you consider local honey?
We get this question all the time. And you will get people that will tell you it's 2 miles from your house. And what I tell people is, to me, it's almost a myth, okay? If you are in the state of Kansas, your pollens are the same almost from border to border. And we are directly right in the middle of the central Kansas. So I tell people we have good central Kansas honey. If you can find a beekeeper closer than that, support your local beekeeper. I tell people that all the time. But as far as local honey, if you've got central Kansas honey, you've got good honey.
Okay, and our next question is from Mark Welch. How much product is stolen? With a corner setup, are people more likely to steal from you because you can't watch everywhere at the same time?
I don't believe that. And how we're always faced kind of, and I'm sure there's probably things that have walked off, but I don't think we lose a lot at all. I think actually the biggest thing we lose is little individual honey sticks that some child has picked up and wandered off before a parent even goes, where did you get that? And the little bears, we sell, I'm going to call it baby bear, and Christy's going to, it's a 2-ounce bear.
That's
I'm
right.
like, shoot, how many ounces is in that baby bear? Now, I've had those that I think, I think I had 3 of those and not 5, but sometimes I also have to think, did they think it was a free sample, and with my lip balms, I set them back a little bit so people don't, and then when people are looking at them, I always say, I have a sample of each one open. It has the S on the lid that you can try. I mean, and every once in a while you get people that really try them, and I have to throw that out. I'm sorry. But I mean for them to smell it, because I carry 5 different scents plus some.
Okay, Teresa W says great info, thank you. Jolie Weiner says great presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Hewlett asks, sounds like it would be best to attend with a friend vendor first to get some experience. Is this true?
Anytime you can take help with you, it is amazing, because then you don't have to worry about, like if I have to go to the restroom and I'm by myself, I will take my cash box with me. I don't want it to walk off. I worked really hard and I don't want that money to walk off. So anytime you got somebody that can come help you, it makes things a whole lot easier, most definitely. A lot of times I'll even take one of my grandkids. They're getting old enough that they can sell to anyway, but at the same time, then you have somebody with an extra set of eyes.
And Jeff Seam says, does a consignment store count as retail? I assume it is, but wanted to ask.
Yeah, when you go in your consignment stores, that is a wholesale situation because of the fact you are not personally handing your product to your end customer. So that is considered a wholesale situation.
And James Carpenter says, I am so impressed with the setups. I want to buy some stuff. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And Becky says, really good. Thank you, Stephanie. Janice Falk says, how do you do your samples?
Our samples, we just keep one tub open behind us or behind the product. And then we have those little tiny, they're yogurt spoons is what they're called. And I do buy them from the yogurt company in bulk. And so we just, we tell them explain to them what the creamed honey is. We sample creamed honeys is what we sample. And ask them if they want to try one. When they tell us they want to, yeah, I do just open it up, take that spoon and get just a little bit on the spoon and then just hand them the spoon. And that way your sample is controlled.
Okay. Bob O'Brien says, wonderful presentation. Thank you. James Carpenter says, you mentioned roadside stands. Do you do that also?
We do not have not set up yet, but this year we are going to be, if everything goes according to plan, be set up at the corn booths here in the Hutch area. So that will be that's like a roadside stand.
Okay. And Mark Welsh asks, how do you give samples of liquid honey? The bees in our backyard make very different looking honey, dark and medium color.
We do use, if I'm, have a mama bear open, oh gosh, I'm sorry, a 12-ounce bear.
That's right, get those ounces right.
I know, we sell the mamas, the papas, the babies, and now the grandpas, and Christy just cringes every time I use that phrase. And okay, so we have a 12-ounce bear that's usually open, and we'll run with light and dark honey on our table too. And if somebody wants to, we'll just squirt it out in one of those little spoons and hand it to them.
Okay, and Janice Falk says, thank you. Claxton says, does honey age like wine?
I don't know. It's going to crystallize on you if you don't do something with it, but I think all honey's good, so I guess.
I would just interject, make sure your moisture content's correct when you extract it. If it's below 18.6, then your honey's not going to ferment and spoil.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what they were asking. I'm sorry.
No, I just thought I'd add that. Jim Kelly says, do you have to have a licensed kitchen to do consignment?
Yes, because it's considered wholesale. Because your consignment, you are not handing your product to your end customer. You're setting it on the shelf. You don't know who's coming in to buy it. So technically you aren't making the sale. The store person or whatever you want to call it is the one making the sale. So it's considered wholesale.
Okay, and Kim Dolphin says, do you have a best-selling product? And thank you.
You know, this is one of the hardest things when we go to sales. your last sale, you sold the daylights out of liquid honey. So this sale, you're going to bring twice as much liquid honey. And all of a sudden, it's still sitting there and you sold out of creamed honey. And it's like, how do you plan on this? One time I'll sell soap, like everybody in the world's dirty. And then the next sale, I won't sell a single bar of soap. It's like, well, I guess they all caught up on their soap consumption right now. So it really just kind of rotates through, and we have just gotten to where we take a set amount of each product. And I've learned in the past, I used to panic. I would be out of Mama Bear's 12-ounce beers, and I'd be calling Mark saying, bring me this, bring me this. Well, now I've learned that if I run out of those 12-ounce bears, guess what? They'll buy a 1-pounder, they'll buy a 24-ounce bear, you know? So if I'm out of something and if run out of a creamed honey, I simply just take the sample off the table, and 90% of your people won't even know that that was an option. So it varies.
Okay, and Denise Russell says, thank you, Stephanie. Wonderful presentation. Very well done and very informative.
Thank you.
Mark Welsh, how many hives do you have and how much honey do you harvest each year? Do you ever run out of honey to sell? If not, do you keep track of older honey and tell people how old the honey is?
We have been very lucky to not run out of honey yet.
Been close.
We've been real darn close. And what happens is if we get low on honey, we quit making creamed honeys. So we have liquid honey to sell. So we've never ran out. Now and even at a show, some people will, sell out and then they go home. That's really not even an option for us, because we like to make sure we take enough stock that we have it to sell.
Have all this stuff for-
And but as far as we're not sitting on back honey. If we try to keep our light and dark separated when we're extracting, because you'll find people that want light honey and you'll find people that want dark honey. But usually all of our honey, we're not sitting on any extra. So I don't have to have the opportunity to say, well, this is honey from 2020. And to me, I don't know that you would need to divulge that unless somebody asks you, because honey doesn't go bad. So, I mean, unless somebody would ask.
Okay. James Carpenter says, can you say more about selling via Facebook Marketplace or other sites? If you do you travel to the customer or do they come to you after online contact?
Okay, we do have an online store. We ship all over the place. And I mean, we ship all over the place. You'll have somebody that has come here on a vacation with somebody else, or they're here like the basketball tournaments are going on right now. So we got a lot of the basketball people that came in this weekend. They know they can go online and we'll ship to them. If somebody's here in town, we deliver all over town, no problem. We have a lot of shut-in people, several shut-in people that we deliver to. We have shows in little towns. A lot of the times, if somebody calls and says, or if I notice a sale coming through that is in some place that we have one of our setups in a boutique or whatnot, I'll get back with them first before I ship and say, you can pick this up at XYZ if you want. If not, I will ship it, but that saves them on that shipping charge. And shipping is just one of the most, to me, horrific things on the face of the earth right now, because it is expensive to ship, and honey is not light. So it costs some money to ship honey.
Okay, and Mark Welch wants to revisit his question. He was asking, do you ever run out of honey to sell? And he says, I'm talking about in a year, not at one specific show.
Mm, no.
Oh, no, we have not ran out of honey for sale. Not so far. We've been down to, I think, one bucket and him extracting spring honey because I'm going, I got a show. But we've never run out of honey, no.
Okay. That's all the questions we have in the chat box. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask them. Janice Falk is asking, how many beehives do you have?
We run with right at 50
Right now.
right now, but I think it's going to grow again this year, even when I said 50 was it.
And I think these questions must have come in at the same time because Bob O'Brien's also asking how large is your apiary? So that's
We
roughly how many hives?
have roughly how many hives? We have, like I said, we run with right at 50, but we don't have our hives all in one place. We have hives in Newton, Hutch, Nickerson, Sterling, McPherson. We have what we call the loop, and we make the loop to take care of everybody. But yeah, we don't keep them all in one place.
And Brad Sumter says, great job, thank you. Claxton Dauber says, how many pounds of honey per year per hive?
That varies.
It varies. We pull anywhere depending on when that hive was started too. A new hive, sometimes we don't get any honey at all off of a new hive. We pull anything from 30 to 50 pounds per hive.
And there's some highs I'll get over 100.
And so, and we've got one hive out there that he pulled 100 pounds off of that hive last year, and I was about, I hope she did good this year.
Janice Fox says, you said something about building a honey house. Could you explain it more?
Well, our certified kitchen at this time is a rented kitchen because we do not have a certified kitchen. You can't put one in your house. So we rent a facility. So out back, we put up a 900 square foot building, 2 stories, and that is what we call the honey house. It has an extracting room, it has a wax room, and it will have the certified kitchen by the time we're done, and it has a bathroom. So then I will not have to go across town to bottle honey for wholesale. Now, make sure you understand, if you're just bottling for your friends, families, farm markets, that thing, you're okay. But once you go wholesale, you have to have a certified kitchen. And ours at this time, we rent. So that will eliminate us having to drive across town to do our stuff. And we'll be able to do it right here on the property.
I've got a question for you. So when you make your honey jams and jellies, can you do that direct sell, or do you have to have a certified kitchen for jams and jellies?
The jams and jellies, I had to register them with the state, the K-State University. I sent them in for their pH and stuff. But they do fall under the jam and jelly rule. As long as you are do not put jalapenos in something, folks. That's gonna get you into trouble. So yeah, if you're not using any peppers, then you're still okay, because jams and jellies can be made in your house for farm markets.
So I just want to say some people on here are from different states, so people need to
Oh, I'm
check
sorry.
with their states. I know there's in Missouri, so.
Yeah, because Oklahoma is way totally different. They have really, really relaxed down on all of their farm market and cottage kitchen laws. It would be good if Kansas would follow suit and follow a lot of what Oklahoma does.
Okay, and Jeff Seam says, are you able to rent a honey kitchen, as in another beekeepers? Would they be able to rent your kitchen?
Mhm.
Okay, so now that's what they call a satellite kitchen. And every person, like we rent the Salvation Army kitchen. There's 5 of us. All 5 of us have to be certified and pay that fee every time. You don't get to all go together and split the fee 5 ways. Everybody has to pay the fee. But yes, it's one of the things that actually USDA asked us if we would consider is making our kitchen into a satellite kitchen that can be, we can charge rent for it, but you would still have to be certified when you go in to do your business on what you're going to do. But yeah, you can definitely rent out your kitchen. And when you do a satellite kitchen, USDA will put it on their website that you have a satellite kitchen for people to go to and then contact you.
And Claxton Dubber says no Oklahoma roads. Maybe he means no Oklahoma rules. Nicholas Hockman says, what is the issue with peppers?
Peppers, it changes the pH of stuff. And that's where you actually get into different spores and botulism that you don't even know is in your thing. One of the biggest things at a lot of farm markets, you'll see people selling salsa. If it's not been tested, technically it's not legal, but you are not going to see our USDA go out and police your farm markets, your flea markets, your craft shows. The way you're going to get is somebody's going to turn you in because either they got sick or they got mad at you. Okay. And they're going to turn you in, and they're not going to come still even investigate you at the farm market. They're going to get a hold of you at your house. And the first time they have to come talk to you, they will educate you. They're not bad people. They really are not. They're more about education than anything. But if they educate you and you don't want to follow suit, you're going to get fined and you're going to get your product confiscated.
Okay, that's all the questions I see in the chat box right now. So Stephanie, thank you very much. It was a very informative presentation and you covered a lot of bases for us.
Thank you.
I have a kind of a follow-up question on the satellite kitchen. So it can be any inspected kitchen, correct? Like it doesn't have to necessarily be a honey kitchen specifically. Like, for example, there's a private bakery. If you had it certified through their owner and you had an agreement with the bakery owner, you could use that as your honey kitchen?
Yes, you get it certified.
Yes, you can use that kitchen, but you also have to get it certified under
Yep.
what you're selling. But yes, most definitely. It doesn't have to be specifically for honey. The USDA is hit and miss right now on whether they would do an actual in-house inspection or whether they do one by Zoom, basically.
Okay.
They're once they started zooming, man, they found out they could hit a lot of places a lot quicker, especially out in rural counties, you know. But like, yeah, ours is the Salvation Army kitchen. It's not, Friendship Mills uses it, the Boy Scouts use it, obviously the Salvation Army Church uses it. So it's not technically a honey kitchen, it's just a certified kitchen. And a lot of times with my USDA guy, he's already been there 2 weeks ago for Friendship Mills because their certification was due. So he'll just contact me and we walk through some things and, you know, might have to take stuff and bottle it to show him, yeah, this is where we set up. You'll want to look at your labels, make sure your labels are on cue, okay? But it doesn't have to be specifically for honey.
Okay. So then a follow-up question. Sorry for all that on the.
No, you're fine.
So when they do their inspection, do you need to have your extraction equipment there, or is it more the bottling equipment that they need?
It depends on what you're going to use. It's going to be more your bottling. Okay.
Okay.
They're going to want to ask, the biggest things are, you're going to have hot water. Okay. He's going to want to know where this is the weirdest one, where the location of the bathroom is from the kitchen. And I know it's like, huh?
That must be a scary thing.
And then you have to make sure that you have a separate hand wash sink and then a 3-hole sink, wash, rinse, and sanitize.
Hmm.
Hot water, he always checks the hot water, and he always checks my bleach water, my sanitized water, always, every time. And then if you make up bleach water ahead of time, make sure you know that it will dissipate even in the bottle. So check it before he comes, so that way you make sure the strength is still right.
Oh, thank-
You're welcome.
Christy, I have a question. You're so organized. I was wondering, are you incorporated or an LLC performing these sales?
You mean me? Are you asking me?
Yes, is
We're
your
not,
business.
we are not incorporated or LLC. And we are not, for the fact that when I talked to my tax person, she said she's ran both, and to dissolve a company either way is just the same amount of headache as any other thing. We do carry insurance, okay?
All right.
And that insurance covers us not only for our food part of it, but also when I'm coming and going, if my trolley would hit a door and break a door, it would cover that. If something would happen and at an overnight event and somebody would break in and steal all of our product, it covers that too. And that insurance is just not that outrageous for what it covers.
And there again, some of your venues require you to have insurance.
And yeah, and there are some of your venues that will require you to have insurance, or they will not let you come.
What
All
kind
right.
of insurance
Thank
is
you.
there?
I'm sorry, what's that?
No,
Was
I
it-
said,
What kind of insurance is that?
I don't know how ours is through State Farm. And I don't even know what they call it, but they take money out of my account every
Like a
month
small
for it.
business
Yeah.
insurance.
It's a small business insurance, is what it is.
This is Mark Welsh from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. And I just watched a video of a man in Tennessee, Dick Brickner's his name, and this is more not on sales, but on developing honey. He checkerboards his honey supers. So when one super is full of honey, or almost, 8 out of 10 frames are full of honey, he'll put on another super, but he'll take half the full frames and put them in the brand new super and put half empty frames in the lower super. And he says that will not only double the amount of honey that his bees will make compared to other beekeepers, but it reduces the propensity for the bees to swarm. Have you tried that or heard about that?
That is actually what Mark does. We stagger our honey supers all the time. And when we're putting in new bees or new packages, we will stagger our foundation in our high bodies as well. They don't get all brand new, they don't get all new frames, but they don't get all made out frames either.
So you do that with your honey, and he talked about how he puts on sometimes, and he uses all mediums. He says, sometimes I get 8 or 9 supers deep. And he says, I still go down, I take off all of the ones on top down to the one right above the brood nest. And he does use queen excluder, and he'll checkerboard those bottom 2 supers, and up above there, it's all full supers.
Yep, that's exactly what Mark does. I mean,
You think that increases your honey production significantly? Because that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, that's for sure. Now,
In some cases, depends on the honey flow.
yeah, and it depends on the honey flow. Now, mind you, I don't think we've ever stacked more than 3 supers at a time. And, we do that just for the fact that
You're getting too high.
you're getting too high. And there's just too much that can get involved in if something would happen. Now, we ratchet strap down all of our hives. But still, if you would topple one over because you've got it up 8 or 9 high, you're going to lose a lot of product and a lot of bees. And they're not going to be happy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for a great presentation as well.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, thanks for attending. And Jolie or Becky, do you all have any ending comments?
No, I think Becky just got off. Nope, I'm glad, man, we had 50 people on. That was a great number. And Stephanie, you did a great job. You answered lots of good questions. Did a good job. And congratulations on Beekeeper of the Year.
Thank you.
Oh, great. So we'll see everyone next month for mentoring and concierge beekeeping with Nikki Bowman. So.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. And thank you, Stephanie, and everybody have a good night's sleep.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Thanks, Steph.